What's up, producers, musicians, and music makers? This is John Daniel with Honey Locust Studio. Today we're going to talk about how to make a beat. Real simple one using Reaper and Maschine, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you enjoy. Alrighty, first things first, we're going to make a beat in Maschine. So we're going to keep it real simple, and when I want something simple, and simple is always really effective, simple is something I can beatbox. So right now I'm kind of thinking like a... So I'm thinking of a kit. I'm going to go with harsh kit because I like the way harsh kit sounds. It's acoustic, but it's got a lot of edge to it. So I'm going to select scene 1, hit this number 1, hit that little magnifying glass, click it, slide it down, zoom out just a little bit so I can see all 4 bars of this scene here. And then I'm going to take a tempo. Default is 120, but that closer to 90. To find that exactly, I'm going to go to the hardware. I'm going to hold Shift, note repeat, and tap the tempo in. That's 91.6. So now I'm going to hit Shift metronome. That's going to give me a metronome. I'm going to play it. And that's going to start a little click. 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3. And I'm just going to play on the pads. Bass drums, usually on 1 and 5. Five's a little punchier. 1's a little boomier. Get a snare on 6. A snare on 2 is a little tighter. 6 rings a little more. So for this, I'm going to use 5 and 2. I'm going to arm the record. 4, 2, 3, 4. Boot, 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 boot. And this isn't very good. I've got a lot of things recording here. I'm recording my voice, and I'm recording all the sound that's coming out of here, and I'm recording what's going on my desktop. So I'm getting some serious latency. So first thing first, I moved these kicks on beat 1 right to the line. Or sort of quantizing by hand. I don't usually like to use quantization. I usually fix everything by hand. But with all this problem here, we're just going to make these corrections. Which is good because then I can show you how to do it. So I've got these snares on beats 2 and 4 of every bar. I'm just going to move those to the line. Even though they weren't too bad, really. Now I've got the last 16th note of beat 1 of every measure. I've got a kick. I'll make sure those are to the line are pretty close. They look pretty good. And the end of 3 of every beat has a kick. Now it's looking pretty good. That one sound. Oop, I don't know what happened there. This one sounds pretty off to me, so I'm going to line that up. Yeah, it's pretty good. This isn't so good. Just put it right on the line there. Cool, I'm liking it. Now I want something on the 8th note. And my immediate thought is hi-hat. So I'm going to go back to the hardware. I'm going to take this recording off. So now I can just kind of jam with it. I like this number. Because of the latency issues, I'm going to use this note repeat function. So I'm going to hold this down and just record it like this. This is on 16th notes. So I'm going to hit the 1/8 on top there. Now we need to record it, so I'm going to hit that record, hold note repeat. Now do number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that. Kind of keeps the time a little bit. It's a little too prominent, so I'm going to go back to the software. There's this little pot here. Click it, drag it down. Kind of mix it down a little bit. Sound better? I think by this point now we can go back to the hardware. Press Shift, play. Take that metronome out of there. I'm hearing sort of like an accent beat in that 8th note. Like a little something like that. And there's that other hi-hat that I liked as well. I'm going to take recording off. Yeah, we're just going to get with that. Hold that note repeat. Get around these latency issues. Hit 1/16. Hit record. That's kind of cool. Now I like that. That's a simple, effective beat. That's going to work for us. Now it sounds pretty vanilla, so I'm going to change up some of these sounds here. So I'm going to go back to the hardware and take it off record. Actually, first in the software, I'm going to hit sound because I put a master effect on here to record everything that we're doing here. So I'm going to hit sound, and I'm going to find that snare. That's pad 2. And I'm going to go up to the top. It says modules right here. I'm going to click that. It's got a sampler and a metaverb. Metaverb is kind of what I was thinking. So I like that. Metaverb is like a reverb, but it's got a real digital sound. I'm going to increase that mix on it. I didn't know that was on here. Here, kind of coming out there. That's with the mix all the way up to 100%. Don't like the way that sounds? I'm going to take the low out of it. It's got an EQ in it. It's got low 50%, high 50%. Low is now 18%. High is 78%. That sounded better. And the bigger the size, the more it's going to ring. Oh, that sounds good. That's 39%. Now I want a little more of a dry sound on it too. So I'm going to take the mix down. I'm just doing little tweaks and listening back. I'm going to settle on 35% here. That sounds pretty good. I want something giving me a little more of a on that kick drum. So I'm going to hit that. It's got an EQ on it, which that'll help, but that's not going to give us what we want. So I'm going to go to module number 3 on the hardware. I go to Shift, Browse, which brings up modules. I want something that's going to be a little bit of distortion. I'm scrolling through it, I'm looking at them. It's got a distortion, but I think that's going to be too much. Lo-fi isn't going to give me what I want. Saturator, I think, is. So I hit load, and then browse. Brings up that saturator. It's got mode classic. It's got a tape, which is going to be a little warmer. Tape saturation is what gave the kick drums of all those 80s metal bands such a nice sound. So I want something a little more edgy than that tape, so I'm going to go to 2. That drive amount, I think that's what I want to tweak. So I'm gonna bump that all the way to 100. I like that. 100's maybe a little too much. Bring it down to 80%. EQ bypass. Gonna bypass that EQ, see what that sounds like. I like it better with the bypass off. The bass is 80%. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real high. I'm gonna put it on 90% even. There's not a lot of high end in this sample. I'm tweaking the highs, not really hearing much. But we want a little bit of a boom anyway. So I'm just gonna, I'll give it a 30% on the highs, but I don't even know if that's gonna make a difference. Now I'm turning up the gain on this. Now it's really getting that little bit of distortion. Now with that gain up, it doesn't, yeah, it's just not sounding right in the mix. So I'm going back to the software. I'm gonna grab that pot down. I'm gonna keep that gain all the way up on that saturator, so we get that nice saturated sound. But I'm taking the gain down, so it's not, or I'm taking the gain down in the mix here in the software, so it's not so overwhelming. I'm gonna go to master. I'm just gonna give this a little touch of EQ. I'll do this one on software so you can see what that looks like. So hit master, our modules are right here. Click this down arrow, and we're gonna do a reverb. Got room, general, bright, guitar, shatter. Shatter is a cool one if you want that real distorted sound. But we don't. We're just going to do general. Going to bring the size down. This output mix, 50%. We're going to bring it down to like 8%. It's just going to give it like a warmer, softer sound. And that's effective. I like it. I think we're done here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit not stop, but hit the play button so it stops. We're going to export this right to the desktop. And so what we're going to do is region, loop range, output master, normalize, no normalization, loop optimize. That's going to be important for us because we're going to do the rest in the Reaper software. Hit the export button. It's going to bounce it here real quick. And then we're done. We'll bring it into Reaper now.